Hi, this is Mudupi speaking, and I am your tutor, all grade 11's mathematical literacy. I am your tutor from Genius Tuition Institute, and now we are in 2020 heading to 2021. 2020 year is full of a lot of work that should be handled in terms. So our first chapter is of relationships. Yes, it's patterns, relationships, and representation. So before we can deal with that, I would like us to deal with the slopes. Now, when you were doing grade 9, you dealt with the gradient. Now the slope is the gradient. So here we are going to deal with the slope. The slope can be steep, the slope can be horizontal, the slope can be vertical. So let us see the pattern. Yes, guys. What is a slope? A slope is an uptrend or a downtrend, and it can also be none of those. That is, it can be vertical and it can also be horizontal. So if you look at these two figures, I'm having figure 1, which is this. This figure, we have the first point is 5:30. That is the relationship, the coordinates. This is a line defined by that. Then for that point, that will be 10:90. Now, if we look at the trend, the slope is the trend. Let us look at the trend. The trend is from the lowest position to the highest position. Now, when a trend is like that, we say it is an increasing trend. That means you move from a lower position to a higher position. If it's from finances, it will be increasing from the smallest amount to the bigger amount. So the first thing is the gradient or the slope will be positive. If it's positive, that means the value is increasing. It increased. Look at this. If this was the value was 30, then look at that. It is 90. It has increased from 32 to 90. Suppose this was the value in rands. Let's say this was the value in rands. And then let's say here it's time in weeks. Time in weeks. Now suppose John worked 5 weeks only to earn $30. And when he worked for 10 weeks, he got 90. That means something happened here. The value increased from 32 to 90. That is why we say it is, if the trend is positive or is an uptrend, then the value will increase. Now the movement is from a low position to the highest position. Now by looking at the second figure, we have a point. We normally move from 0 upwards. Now this is 0 position, then this is 5. Now from here to here, the first point is there at 90. That is the first point, is at 90. And then the second point is at 10, which is 30. The value, suppose that is in rands, and then here is also time in weeks. 5 weeks, he earned 90, and then in 10 weeks, 30. Now something happened. That means it declined, it decreases. So the slope is decreasing. So the slope will be negative. A decreasing trend has a negative slope, and the value will decrease. That is, it decreases from 90 to 30 in this case. And then the movement is from a high position to a lower position. That is why it is decreasing. Now let us look at another picture. Yes, here we are. Wow. The position, that is the weeks, the time, is constant. There's no movement in time, but there is movement in rands, that is in the rand value. It's 30 here. In 5 weeks, 30, and then he also got 90. That is the increase in rands. Now, in this case, we have a slope, but this slope is not like the first two. This one is called a vertical slope. It's a vertical slope. Why vertical? Because it runs parallel to the y-axis. This is the y and this is the x. The vertical axis is called the y-axis. So if it's parallel to that, then it's going to look like this. This is vertical slope, and then here we have a horizontal slope because it is parallel to the x-axis. So when you have a horizontal slope, there will be no increase in value. If it's motion, there will be no increase in motion. That means the slope will be zero. A horizontal slope is always also called a zero slope. It's also called a zero slope. There is no increase in value. So those are different types of slopes. Now let's get to business. Let's get to business. Yeah, bro. Yes. We have patterns, relationships, and representation. Now the patterns are normally represented on a graph, and there is a relationship between the x and the y-axis. That is the variables, the dependent as well as the independent variable. There is a relationship there. That is why we draw a pattern, and these patterns are drawn on a graph. Now that graph can either be a bar graph, a line graph, etc. It depends on how you want to draw it. So let's take this graph, guys. This is a graph of money in a savings account over a certain period of time. Yes. Yes. You have this. The graph of money, the graph of money in a savings account over time. Now, if you look at this point, it's at zero. Zero what? 0 rands, 0 months. So this is the point. So when you, according to this graph, the graph shows us that when you had 0 months, the amount was 6,000. That is the first relationship. Now the second relationship is here at this point where you had 2 months is to 4,000. Now that means after 2 months, the value in the bank was 4,000. Initially, the value was 6,000. Now after 2 months, what happened? It is now 4,000. What happened? The value decreased to 4,000. That means it decreased by 2,000. How did you get that 2,000? It's 6,000 minus 400. Now that is the decrease in value. So, and from here, you can see that the trend is moving up. And from that point again, it moves up and then it goes down. When it goes up, we say it is increasing. It increased here and also increased, and then it went down. It decreased. But if you look at this is horizontal, guys. That means nothing happened here. There was no increment, no decrease. So here, this was a downtrend of value. Look, if it goes like, then it is depicted in this, along this line. Now this one, that is along the months, that means from 8 to 10, nothing happened. There was no increase in that. Now that is why we say we must have the relationship of months and value. Now, that is it. This is a scenario of a certain individual's account. Now, let us check this. The question says, how much money was in the account at the start of the period? How much money was in the account at the start of the period shown on the graph? Now, here is the graph, guys. Where do we start? Do we start here? No, here we have 10. Do we start here? Nope. We normally start at no position, which is at 0. What the question says, how much money was in the account at the start of the period shown on the graph? Now, this is a start. You always start at 0. How much money was there? Look at that. That was 6,000. Now you can see the relationship of 0 months and money. The relationship of months and money. That is why we have the relationship. Now, that relationship will form a pattern. This is a pattern. A pattern. Decrease, increase, increase, decrease, no increment, then it drops. So, in any relationship in a pattern that is represented, there is meaning or a message that is sent to people, and that message should be interpreted correctly. You must read the graphs correctly. Fine. Now, question number 2. Question number 2 says, explain why the graph has a drop-down slope between month 0 and month 2. Wow. From here to here, it went down. Why is that a drop? Because here, at the start, it was 6,000. And then, what happened to it? It was 6,000. Look at that. Then it went like this. What is the value? It's 4,000. It was 6,000, then it fell to 4,000. That means something happened here. The money was in the account. Now, how can that be 4,000? The account holder withdrew 2,000. That is exactly what happened. He withdrew 2,000. That is why the graph goes to a negative. It has a negative slope. That shows you that he withdrew. Something was taken out. The graph will tell you if something was taken out, it will have a negative gradient. If it was put in, that means if it was deposited, then it will show an increasing graph. Negative, positive, positive, negative. Yes. So now explain why the graph has a down slope between month there. Because there was a withdrawal that was made of 2,000. Now, how much money was in the account in the month? Yes, in the month 4. Look at that. It's here. It's 4. Yes, 4 is here. Now let's move. Yes, this is 8. The value in rands, that is rands. Now the value in rands, yes, the value in rands, that will be in month 4, that will be 8,000 rands. Fine, that is the answer to that question. And then question number 4. Describe the slope of the graph between month 2 and 6. Month 2 and 6. Where is 6? Now, let's take the slope. Month 2 and 6. Look at that. 2 and 6. That is an uptrend, guys. It is an uptrend. It is an uptrend. Look at that. It is an uptrend, so it moves from month 2 and then to 6. It is an uptrend. So it is a positive slope. Now the question said, describe the slope of the graph between month 2 and 6. It was an uptrend. It was an increasing trend. It was an increasing slope, a positive slope. Now, what does the slope of the graph tell you? If the slope was an increasing slope, that means the account holder deposited money. There was a deposit that was done. That means the deposit from here to there. There were deposits done. How many deposits were done? It was from here, 1 and then 2. 2 deposits were done. So, yeah. Question number 5. From month 8 to month 10. Month 8, let us see here. Month 8 there up to month 10. Look at that. This is a straight line, guys. Straight line. And that straight line is horizontal to the x-axis. to the horizontal axis. So from month 8 to month 10, the graph is horizontal. What does this tell you about the amount of money in the bank? The amount, if you have a horizontal slope, it shows you that nothing is happening. There is no increase and there is no decrease. Therefore, the amount never increased. It was static. Nothing happened to it. There was no withdrawal and there was no deposit. Fine. And again, let me put this one on top of that. Yeah, from the graph, deduce how many withdrawals were made. How many withdrawals were made? Good. Let us check that. Let's check that. Right? How many withdrawals were done? From here, we look at the negative. 1, then deposit, 2, no deposit, 3. 1, 2, 3. No. 1, 2, 3. This is withdrawal number 1, withdrawal number 2, and withdrawal number 3. Now, but withdrawal number 3 is the worst withdrawal. Why can you say that? Why can we say that? Because it dropped from 4,000 to 0. The owner withdrew everything. That is how this graph tells us. Now, another question. When was the withdrawals made? Fine. The first withdrawal was made on the 2nd month, the second on the 8th month, and the last one on the 10th month. We can see them here, guys. Right? Then, yeah, how much money was there in the bank account in month 9? In month 9. Month 9, it was 4,000. It was, it was, yes, it was 4. No, it's something. Nope. Let's check. Let's check. Yes. Oh, it was 6,000, guys. 6,000. It was 6,000. Was 6,000 in the account. And the next question, explain. It says, that is question number 9. Explain what happened from month 8 to 9. Month 8 to 9. No withdrawal was made. No deposit and withdrawal were made. That is exactly what happened. And then the next question is explain why the graph touches the horizontal axis at the month 10. Explain why this graph touches this here. What is the value here? Look at that. It's 0. And the original position was here, and then it fell here. What is its position there? It was 6,000. What does this explain to us? It tells us that a withdrawal of 6,000 happened. That means the account holder withdrew everything he had in the account. He withdrew 6,000. And what is left in there? In the account? 0. Now, what does this tell you about the amount of money in the bank? There was nothing left in the bank. So guys, this is it. What you need to do, guys, the first thing that you need to do is to analyze the information. Analyze the information, and thereafter make sure that you understand it. Make sure that you understand it. And then, lastly, guys, you know, there is no day without activity. People are active, so I need to give you something. Yabo, classwork activity. That is page 5, number 1, A up to E. And then number 2, A up to G. That is in book, yeah, I think it's book 2, but that is macmillan.co.za. It's an ebook in your Genius Tuition Institute grade. So go there, log into your account, and then go to material. You'll see different books there. Click on them, and then go to page 5, number 1, A up to E. And then, if need be, you can write and snapshot them and then send them to me. You send them to me because I need to mark that. If you don't, I'm going to give you 0. And remember, your results, I'm going to send your results to your parents because I can use PDF. I send them everything. If you don't attend, I also send them. I have a register, an e-register. So guys, make sure that you log into your account, do your work properly. So this is the end of our session. See you tomorrow. And guys, make sure that you work. Because term number 1 is the beginning of your getting distinctions. We start now. Thank you, guys. See you.